all lost in the dust, lost in the fall and the crush and the dark. Now all coming back.
The morning of September 11th was one of the most beautiful days.
I went down to the American coffee shop and I got my bagel and my water and I went upstairs.
It was just like any other day, nothing, no different.
Up with the lark, downtown New York. The sidewalks, the blocks. Walk, don't walk. Walk, don't walk. Breakfast to go, an adrenaline shot in a styrofoam cup. Then plucked from the earth, rocketed skyward a fifth of a mile in a minute, if that. The body arrives, then the soul catches up.
When I first started working in the World Trade Center, my first day there, I was like, wow, I was so overwhelmed. I was like, this is really New York City. This is really what Wall Street is all about.
It was amazing to work at the World Trade Center. I remember coming back from a New Jersey vacation on the way back to Long Island and telling my husband, I work in that building right there.
There was a sense of, how would you describe it, maybe pride, working in the tallest building in New York City.
That weird buzz of being at work in the hour before work. All terminals dormant, all networks idle, systems in sleep mode, all stations unpeopled. I get here early just to gawp from the window. Is it shameless or brash to have reached top? Just me in America, 90 floors up. Is it brazen to feel like a king? Like a god, surfing the wave of a power trip? A fortune under my fingertip. $1 billion a minute. $1 million a blink. Selling sand to the desert. Ice to the Arctic. Money to the rich. The elation of trading in futures and risk. Here I stand, a compass needle, a sundial spindle, right at the pinnacle. Under my feet, Manhattan's a simple bagatelle. Pinball table, all lights and mirrors and whistles and bells.
My husband Steve worked for Cantor Fitzgerald. He was in Tower 1 on the 104th floor. He liked working with his customers. He liked working with the people all around him. It seemed like a fun place to work. I think he found it exciting just being up there. You felt like you were on a plane when you got up there that high. You really did. On a clear day, you could be flying.
My son worked for Cantor Fitzgerald on the 101st floor of the North Tower. Kevin loved America. He absolutely adored America, and he was prepared to work hard, but he got the rewards. When he took me for the last day before I flew home on the last time, that was 6 weeks before he was killed, I said, don't you worry about working right up there. I said, where are you on the 101st floor? I said, wasn't this hit once by a bomb? Didn't some terrorist or something try to get in on the basement? And he said, yeah, Mum, but he said, don't worry about it. He said, lightning never strikes twice in the same place, so don't worry about it. I don't worry about it.
The day begun. The sun like peach, a peach of a sun, and everything framed by a seascape dotted with ferries and sails and a blue sky zippered with vapor trails. Beyond this window, it's vast and it's sheer. Exhilaration. All breath. All clear. All lost. All lost in the dust. Lost in the ash and the drift and the black. Now all coming back.
Arranged on the desk among rubber bands and bulldog clips, here is a rock from Brighton Beach. Here is a beer mat. Here is the leaf of an oak, pressed and dried, papery thin. Here is a licorice all sorts tin. A map of the underground, pinned to the wall. A flag of St. George. Cricket ball. Here is a calendar, counting the days. Here is a photograph, snug in its frame. This is my wife on our wedding day. Here is a twist of her English hair. Here is a picture in purple paint. 2 powder paint towers heading for space. Plus rockets and stars and the Milky Way. Plus helicopters and aeroplanes. Jellycopters and fairy planes. A spidery hand underneath it, it says, "If I stand on my toes, can you see me wave?"
I perform my usual task, which is checking on the servers, computer servers, and making sure that they were running fine and preparing them when people start coming to work at 9 o'clock.
I went over to a desk and made my phone calls and checked my emails, and I was eating my bagel.
The tower's at 1. The silent prongs of a tuning fork testing the calm. Then a shudder or bump. A juddering thump or a thud. I swear no more than a thump or a thud. But a Pepsi Max jumps out of its cup, and a filing cabinet spews its lunch. And the water cooler staggers, then slumps. And a sonic boom, and the screen goes blue.
Then a deep, ungodly dragon's roar. In the lobby, the lift opens up, and out of the doors, the tongue of a dragon comes rolling out. Then the doors slide shut, and the flames are gone. Then ceiling tiles all awry at once. Then dust. A soft, white dust snowing down from above.
Steve's office faced uptown, and it hit under him, I think it hit somewhere around 96, the plane. So if he was looking out the window, he could have seen that coming.
The explosion sounded like a tremendous boom, like a roaring sound. And I never heard something like it before. So I just assumed it was a bomb exploding.
The tower swayed forward and pushed me. I was sitting in my chair, pushed me into the desk. Then it swayed backwards, and I kind of fell out of the chair.
We just went flying onto the desk, and then onto the other side of the desks. We were like a ping pong ball.
I remember thinking, oh my God, the building's just going to fall right over.
I looked outside the window, and you saw people, and I thought it was briefcases, but they must have been suitcases. And you just saw people flying through the air. And you saw the fire coming into the office, and all the glass shattered.
I know for a fact these towers can stand the shoulder charge of a gale force wind or the body check of a hurricane. But this is a punch. A hammer blow. I sense it thundering underfoot, a pulsing, burrowing aftershock, down through the bonework of girders and struts, down into earth and rock, right to the root. The horizon totters and lists. The line of the land seems to teeter on pins and stilts. A perceptible tilt. And the world realigns, corrects itself. Then hell lets loose. And I knew we were torn. And I knew we were holed, because through that hole, a torrent of letters and memos and forms now streams and storms, now flocks and shoals, now passes and pours, now tacks and jibes, now rushes and rides. The centerfold of the New York Times goes winging by. Then a lamp, a coat, a screen, a chair, a yogurt pot, a yucca plant, a yellow cup, a Yankees cap.
A shoe falls past, freeze-framed against the open sky. I see raining flames. I see hardware fly.
The first communication that I received was to let me know that a plane had hit the building, but that he was okay. His friend was saying, "You guys got to get out, you got to get out." And in that conversation, he said, "We're trying, but there's too much smoke."
It was about 1:45 here when I just finished hanging out the washing and watched CNN News. And I just looked up and I saw all the belches of smoke. I thought, what the hell, what are they doing? Making a film? I could see where the plane had gone in on the first tower, and I knew that's where Kevin was, because Kevin was on the 101st floor and it hit the 98th floor.
Millicent wants an answer now. Anthony talks through a megaphone. Mitch says it looks like one of those days. Abdul calls his mother at home. Christopher weeps for his cat and his dog. Monica raises her hand to her eye. Lee goes by with his arm on fire. Abigail opens a bottom drawer.
Joseph presses his face to the glass. Teresa refrains from raising her voice. Abdul tries his mother again. Bill pulls a flashlight out of his case.
Tom replaces the top of a pen. Peter hears voices behind the door. Abdul tries his mother again. Glenn writes a note on a paper plane. Gloria's plan is another dead end. Paul draws a scarf over Rosemary's face. Arnold remembers the name of his wife. Judy is looking for Kerry and Jack. Eduardo lights a cigarette. Dennis goes down on his hands and knees. Stephanie edges out onto the ledge. Jeremy forces the door of the lift.
Elaine is making a call to a school. Claude won't be needing this anymore.
Rosa and Bob never stood a chance. Josh goes looking, but doesn't come back.
The smoke was already here, and we were crawling on the floors. We didn't think that we were going to even get out. We had 3 exits in our office. 2 of them were melted shut, we couldn't even get to. And the third exit, ironically, was the exit that we never used. Harry and John Paul had a golf club, and they took the golf club. They pushed hard enough to get all the debris out from behind the door, so they gave us an exit to get out of the office.
We began to debate what was it? Was it an attack? Was it an accident? We didn't know.
Go up, go down, sit tight for now, or move, don't move. It's all in hand, make a call on the phone, stay calm. Then shout, stay calm, then shout. Come back, I think we should leave, but not in the lift. The staircase closed, the stairwell black. Keep cool, keep your head. For God's sake, man, this telephone's dead. Get low to the floor. We bolted this door, try the key, try the code. Hit 911, and away from the glass, keep back from the heat. Heat rises, right, go down, go south. That exit locked, that lobby blocked, that connecting corridor clogged with stone. The lights go out. Come on, go out. Come away from the edge, hit 911. Call home, come here and see, we made the news. Try CNN, try ABC. They say it's a plane. So bung it with something to stop the smoke, or we choke. Use the skirt, use the shirt. Rescue service is now on their way. What with? With what? With a magic carpet, 1,000-foot rope? Stand back from the door.
The lights were out. The ceiling had fallen in on our floor. So there was a lot of white dust and debris on the floor. I specifically remember walking past the elevators and hearing steam, the sound of steam coming off of the elevators. And then we were directed into the stairwell.
Every floor we went to, you saw one floor could be totally demolished with fire and smoke, and another floor you could hear the music playing. Then you go to another floor and you see all the people in their wheelchairs. And you wonder, I was like, how are these people going to get down?
Don't break the glass, don't fan the flames. Outside it's sheer, a wing and a prayer. Go up, go north, get out on the roof. No way, call home, call home.
It's Daddy, ask Mummy to come to the phone. Get Mummy, tell Mummy to come to the phone. Just do as you're told.
This glass, like metal. If we step out there, if we stay in here, this glass, like metal. Just do as you're told.
Get Mummy, tell Mummy to come to the phone. It's Daddy, ask Mummy to come to the phone.
Call home, call home. Out on the roof, go north, go up, a wing and a prayer, it's air. Outside it's sheer, outside it's air. Don't break the glass, don't fan the flames. They're saying it's war. Stand back from the door. What with? With what? A magic carpet? 1,000-foot rope? Rescue services now on their way. Use the skirt, use the shirt, or we choke. So bung it with something to stop the smoke. They say it's a plane. Try ABC. Try CNN. Come here and see. We made the news. Call home. Call home. Hit 911. Try the key. Try the code. We bolted this door. Get low to the floor. Keep your head. Keep cool. This stairwell black. This staircase closed. I think we should leave, but not on the lift. Come back. And shout! Come back. Stay calm. And shout! Stay calm. Make a call on the phone. It's all in hand. Don't move or move. Sit tight for now. Go up. Go down. Sit tight for now. Go up. Go down.
Fire as a rumour at first. Fire as a whisper of wolves massing and howling beneath the floor, clawing and scrabbling, tongues of flame licking under the door, and smoke like fear. Smoke as a bear, immense and barreling, horribly near. Then furious heat, incensed, every atom irate and alive with heat. And air won't arrive.
Unbreathed, an ocean, a sky goes sailing past on the other side. No, heat, with its nails in your eye, with its breath in your face, its hands in your hair, its fist in your throat. So the window shatters, the glass goes through.
Crane into the void. Lean into the world.
I watched the fire. I remember it eating. It looked like it was eating across the building and everything in its way.
It was so hot. You didn't know what to do. You were scared. We all had bottles of water. People were putting washcloths around their necks just to keep their necks cool.
People began to buy water bottles from the vending machine right next to it. There was like a kitchen. There was a kitchen right next to it. People began buying water bottles. And I did the same thing. I put $1 in, got my water bottle.
You saw the lady that was the elevator lady. Remember, she had blonde hair. She was a black woman with blonde hair. She was burnt to the crisp. You smelled flesh burning. All these people are dead here, and all these people are running crazy. They can't get out. What makes you think we're going to get out?
Crane into the void, lean into the world. It's not in my blood to actually jump. I don't have the juice, but others can't hold. So a body will fall, and a body will fall, and a body will fall, and a body will fall. A body will drop through the faraway hole of vanishing point, smaller, then gone, till the distant hit and the burst of dust. The shock, the stain of fruit and stone.
One moment, somebody screamed at another person. I jumped. And as I looked up, what I saw resembled like a piece of, like an object floating down. Something like a piece of paper just falling down.
I looked out the window, and I know that I've told people that I've saw people fall. But at this point, I can't remember. I do remember seeing a lot of blood. I do remember seeing what looked like pieces of people.
I just looked away. I didn't want to see the end result.
The thing that most resonates with me now is the sound of hitting the concrete. I still have nightmares about that sound of hitting the concrete.
I was fighting for breath. I was pounding the glass when a shape flew past. A snapshot only, the shape of a cross, as it were. Just a blur.
At first, it sounded like was a very high whine, like a missile.
We felt another boom, and the building started to shake again, but not as bad as the first time.
It was just a huge explosion. It was just a huge, deafening explosion.
We were still on our floor when that second plane went through.
But detail, fact, an engine, a wing, a sort of swayed sort of thing, sort of swoon, that fear when something designed to be far comes illogically near. Then it banked, it scooped, it was tipping, not dipping away, but towards, on the turn. Then the groan and the strain as it turned, I see it now, over and over, frame by frame by frame. Then everything burned.
And I thought, how crazy is this? This can't be the case. I actually thought there's got to be some mistake. They'll wind back the film, call back the plane. I'll try this again. The day will be fine, put back as it was, because lightning never strikes once, let alone twice. And no two planes just happen to veer through mechanical fault or human error, one after the other.
It must be a mirage. It must be a mirror. That thought didn't last. That thought was a lie, which darkened and died the second it formed. Then it dawned. What else is a plane but a flying bomb? A man with his arm in his hand in a mess mumbles, "This is so wrong."
I immediately hit my phone, the button on the phone that goes straight to Kevin's desk, but all I got was a high-pitched tone.
Please send somebody! Stand by, we do have somebody on the way.
I'm on the 83rd floor. We're on the floor and we can't breathe. And it's very, very, very hot.
Hello, there's two of us in this office. We're not ready to die.
I have a lot of apparatus. Sean, it's me. I just wanted to let you know I love you and I'm stuck in this building in New York. A plane hit the building or a bomb went off. We don't know, but there's lots of smoke and I just wanted you to know that I love you always. Bye.
We are spinning a web. We're knotting a net. These are delicate threads. These are desperate times. We're throwing out lines so subtle and slight, they're lighter than air. We are spanning the sky with wireless wires too faint by far for the naked eye, untraceably thin, imperceptibly fine, but they carry our breath.
We're making our calls. They're tight ropes strung from the end of the phone to a place called home, so our words can escape. Our voices trapeze for mile after mile, or in my case, traverse the width of the sea. My beautiful wife, sit down in the chair. Put the phone to your ear. Let me say, let me hear. We're spinning a web. Such delicate threads, the links so brittle. Too little, too late. Not one can save us or bear our weight.
You have picked me out. Through a distant shot of a building burning, you've noticed now that white cotton shirt is twirling, turning. In fact, I'm waving. Small in the clouds, but waving. Waving. Does anyone see a soul worth saving? So when will you come? Do you think you're watching a man shaking crumbs or pegging out washing? I'm trying and trying. The heat behind me is searing, searing. But the white of surrender is not yet flying. I'm not at the point of launching, leaving. A bird goes by. The depth is appalling. Appalling that others like me should be windmilling, wheeling, spiraling, falling. Now smoke is fuming, seething. Are your eyes believing that here in the gills I am still breathing? guns below me are wailing, firing. My arm is numb and my nerves are sagging. Do you see me, my love? I am flagging. Flagging.
We got down to the concourse level, which is the second level, and we couldn't go any further because from the lobby up had filled with all this water that was running down the stairs had filled the stairwell up. And it reminded me of, if you saw the movie Titanic, the water was up to the step of the second floor, and we had to get out onto the concourse.
And when I got down to that concourse level, and the policemen were like, don't look, don't look. Well, I looked. Sorry that I looked. But I was looking to run out, and they grabbed me. And when I looked to see what was going on outside, I saw a war zone.
It was pure panic. There was a lot of screaming. There was pieces of the building and people falling outside. So you could hear loud thuds on the concrete. There was a lot of panic. People were running in different directions, and there was firemen and policemen trying to kind of corral people.
I saw people splattered. I saw two people hugging together with a piece of metal right through them.
There was a fireman or a police officer, I'm not sure, standing right at the door, and we went one at a time, and he said to me, don't look up, don't look back, keep your head down, and run.
Then enormity falls. Then all sense fails. The strings are cut, the world goes slack. The tower to the south, holding onto the moon by its fingernails, now loses its fix and drops from view. The tower to the south now loses heart, now sieves itself through itself, just gives up the ghost. All logic and fact on the slide.
Looking at the South Tower, and it just started melting, is the best way I can describe it. It just started melting like an ice cream cone.
I walked across the street. I turned around once. I heard the roar. Tower 2 fell right on me. With my high heels on, I ran to the corner. I mean, I don't know how I wasn't trampled on because people were just pushing you. I mean, there were people who were running for their lives.
You could actually hear, like, the floors collapsing. You can actually hear, like, as it was going down. When the second tower collapsed, I thought I was gonna die. Right at that point, my cell phone rang. I said, now is really not a good time.
Through a crack in the sky for a second or so, a river, and land on the other side. Then the image lost to an uplift of ash and an inrush of dust. And the overwhelming urge to run. The impulse to pump with the arms and fists, sprint hell for leather up 7th or 5th, a wish for the earth to be solid and not to give, for concrete or tarmac under the feet to charge for the light at the end of the street. One last race, the utmost desire to be downing liters of smokeless air and to run and run and run and run and break the finish line, burst a lung.
priest was outside this St. Paul's church. And I guess they were grabbing people to make sure that they were okay. And this man, priest, just as the building was up to here on me, you could see the building. It's right here. He took me and he threw me under the car.
When the dust cloud came over me, it felt like it was like a whoosh that came over, and it got really dark. And I remember I couldn't breathe. I was trying to breathe through my shirt.
Came out from underneath the car, and everybody around me was dead or injured.
I watched sirens and lights, the soldier ants of vehicles wearing emergency red all filing this way. And the people, New Yorkers, blowing away, a biblical tide of humankind going north, going safe. The faces of women and men looking up at the nightmare of where I am. Looking back at the monstrous form I've become. They turn and run.
And the only colours, mile beyond mile, through that awful snow. Traffic lights changing. Stop. Wait. Go.
That day, I thought that he was going to make it home. I really thought that night when I went to sleep, I said, there's a good chance. You're not supposed to give up hope. And I really didn't.
I had bad survivor's guilt. I wished I was dead. I used to ask my mom, how come they don't want me in heaven? All these people died, why did God keep me?
I didn't know how he died, which is the most important thing to me. I just think my imagination runs wild with me. I just think, how did he die? How did he die? I wanted to be with him.
What reveals itself once night is cleared? What emerges by day? What fragments? What findings? What human remains? A steaming mound like a single corpse, stony tissue, skeletal steel, and not matter alone, but ideas as well. Concepts torpedoed and theories trashed. The gleaners arrive to pick and prize, to rummage by any and every means. Claw and spike, hook and crane, bucket and spade, on hands and knees. Some use the phrase a fruitless search. Some fall and weep, some gag and retch, some report that death has the scent of a peach. The will-o'-the-wisp of a welder's torch, two right-angled girders raised as a cross. The numbers game, the body count. Then part of a body is stretched out, carried by bearers, clothed in a flag. The rest is boated and trucked, strewn in a field to be raked and forked, to be sifted and bagged, numbered and tagged. What comes to light are the harder things. Eternity rings, necklaces, bracelets, identity cards, belt buckles, cufflinks, earrings, combs, hair slides, hip flasks, running shoes, bones. Watches are found still keeping time, the escapement sound, the pulse still alive, but others have locked at 10:28. Others like mine. And here is a rock from Brighton Beach. Here is a beer mat. Here is the leaf of an oak, pressed and dried, papery thin. Here is a licorice all sorts tin. Flag of St. George, a cricket ball. Here is a calendar, counting the days. Here is a photograph, snug in its frame. This is my wife on our wedding day. Here is a twist of her English hair. No ashes as such, but cinders and grains are duly returned, sieved and spooned and handed back in a cherry wood urn in a velvet bag. All lost in the dust, lost in the fall and the crush and the dark, now all coming back.
I saw probably the most horrific things a person can see. And I've also seen the most generous and courageous things I think a person can see.
I have a lot of trouble sleeping. Very bad nightmares. I used to urinate in the bed the first month. I would hide in the closet thinking that people were coming to get me. And there's really no way to live your life in fear.
The whole world has a piece of us that you have no control of.
"5 years on, nothing in place. The hole in the ground still an open wound. The gaps in the sky still empty space. The scene of the crime still largely the same. But everything changed. The world is a difficult place to trust. 5 years on, what false alarm can be trusted again? What case or bag can be left unclaimed? What flight can be sure to steer its course? What building can claim to own its form? What column can vow to stand up straight? What floor can agree to bear its weight? What tower can vouch to retain its height? What peace can be said to be watertight? What truth can be said to be bulletproof? Can anything swear to be built to last? Can anything pledge to be hard and fast? What system can promise to stay in place? What structure can promise to hold its shape? What future can promise to keep the faith? Everything changed. Nothing is safe.